Hi guys, in this video I am going to share how I increased my eBay sales by $1,000 in just 2 weeks. Crazy, huh? But it's possible. Before I get started though, my name is Celeste Garcia. I have been reselling on eBay for 3 years. I was previously a teacher. I left teaching when I noticed that I could make more money on eBay and stay home with my kids. You know, that was my main purpose. That was my why, being able to stay with my kids, and that's why I do it now. So I don't necessarily do it full-time. I know I've said that I do it full-time, but then I realized I don't actually do it full-time because I spend time with my kids. You know, I have responsibilities, and I do this about 25 hours a week because I also have other projects going on. Also, before I get started, I do want to say that I implemented these tips, but I also implemented tips that I talked about in my previous video on how to increase your eBay sales, and I'll link it if you haven't watched it, so go ahead and watch it because I implemented those strategies and these strategies. Okay, so let's get started. So these are things you can definitely do as well, no matter what stage of your eBay journey you're on, whether you're starting or are a veteran. These are things you can always do to help with your sales. I'm going to be looking at my paper because I have, you know, the information that I have, but I will include a picture here of my sales. I actually took a picture of my sales for 31 days so I can prove to you, you know, that I did increase my sales. I want to say that I am a little bit embarrassed of my sales because I was previously working a lot more just a few months back, and my monthly average was about 8,000 to 9,000. Keep in mind that it's gross. It's not everything that I take home, it's gross. So my numbers are so low now, and there's no excuse for that, but I do want to say that I had some life changes going on, so I wasn't working as much, if any, but you know, I will still give it to you because, you know, this is the lowest that my sales have been, and I am on my way up. I hope you take these tips to come along with me. So I will show you the picture that I took, and this picture was of my sales for 31 days. It was from November. I took it November 14th at 6 a.m. so I didn't have any sales, but the picture was from October 15th to, of course, November 14th, and my sales were $2,869.18. Again, I am not proud of those sales. I had a lot of things going on, so I was listing very little. I was really relying on the work that I had previously done, and that's what's great about eBay. If you work so hard, when you take some time off, you know, you can rely a bit, not too much, on, you know, the work you have done, because I realized that when you do auctions, you see your hard work pay off in about 7 days. For me, that's what I noticed. It might be different for everyone, but I noticed my hard work pay off in about a week. And so I wasn't working. And just a few days later, on November 30th, which was yesterday, November 30th, at about 6 a.m. as well, I took another picture of my sales for the past 31 days. So it did include some sales from that previous picture that I did include because it's 31 days, and I am only showing you the increase in sales for 14 days, it was 16 days, about 2 weeks. And so my sales, I'll show you the picture up here, were $3,952.03. So that was a little over $1,000. And so this picture was taken from October 31st to November 30th. Okay, so that was about 16 days difference. So it did include some sales again from the previous picture, but you know, it was just a 16-day difference, and what a difference 16 days made. So I will begin spilling all my tips on how I did this, how I increased it. So if you haven't already, like I said earlier, go watch my previous video on some of the tips I gave you to increase those sales, because I did all of those, and I'll link in. I did all of those plus this. Okay, so the first thing, and I'll talk about one of those, is always, you know, be consistent with when you're listing. Okay, that's all. I did all those things. I was consistent all the time. I listed about 10 items per day for 5 days a week. I took weekends off. So sometimes it was hard because of what I have going on, but I tried to stick to 10 items a day. I didn't work actually Saturday and Sunday, which is a big, I'll be changing that soon. But I just have been enjoying time with my family, so I'm not hard on myself. Well, I was consistent with that, okay? But besides that, that's not one of the tips that's new from my previous video, is I did more auctions. Every time I want to increase my sales, every time I want to see more activity in my eBay store, I do auctions, okay? And I use auctions as a strategy because I know that just by doing this so long, I know that eBay likes auctions, and eBay will send traffic to your store when you have auctions ending, okay? So that for me is a good strategy. Auctions could be good, auctions could be bad, and people have different arguments for them, but I love auctions. Yes, it could be risky. Auctions are risky. I'm famous for putting a lot of auctions starting at 99 cents. People think that I'm risking, but I'm actually doing a lot of research behind the items that I place at 99 cents. So if I know that an item is not such a great item, I will just put the lowest amount that I'm willing to take, that I feel comfortable. Okay, I also just do auctions strategically to get more traffic into my store and to get more sales. Okay, so that's the first thing that I did. I did more auctions instead of listing items as a buy it now that I knew could sell as a buy it now quickly. I just listed them for a few dollars less that I would normally list them at for buy it now, and it'll bring traffic to my store. So when you're doing auctions, don't just place anything in an auction. Be smart about it. Do your homework, okay? And so that's gonna help you be successful. That's gonna bring a lot of traffic to your store, and that's gonna give you sales. So the second tip that I did was run sales. Sales bring a lot of traffic to your store. They like sales. You do need a store to place sales in your stores. So if you haven't updated or gotten a store, I would recommend doing that. It's only about $20 a month, and it has its benefits, okay? So you do need a store to do this, so I did run sales, and I usually like to run sales weekends. Start them sometimes Thursdays and run them to Sunday night. And so I do this because I know people get paid Thursdays or Fridays. Direct deposit hits about, Thursdays or Fridays for most people. And so I sell more things on the weekends, usually. I also want to talk about strategies with the sales. I do usually try to run 3 sales. I run sales on my older items, items that I've had for several months that aren't getting much traffic, that I made a bad choice on, and I want to get rid of. So I place those usually at like 50% off. The second items, the other sale that I run are for items that I've had for like 2 to 3 months, and I usually like to do like 20 to 25, maybe 30% off for those items because I don't want to keep them for a long time. And so then I have my newer items, things that I've listed a few days, maybe a week or 2, and those items I just put a lower discount on. I maybe do like 5-10%, maybe 15% on those, and that brings a lot of traffic to my store. And a lot of the times I make a lot of sales when I do include these sales. Okay, so that's my other tip. Okay, so another thing I do besides auctions, sales, I also send offers. eBay just started this recently where you have an opportunity to send offers to likers. So not on all items, but eBay gives you that opportunity to. And so on the days that I do not, and this is just my personal opinion, this is just what I do, on the days that I do not have sales, so that's maybe like Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, I send out offers to likers. That gives them a better deal than others, people that have liked an item. I usually like to offer about 20 to 30% on items, and I'll just send that offer, okay? Other people won't see that, that deal. Only the people that I sent the offers to, and these are the likers. That honestly has brought a lot of sales, and I usually like to send them a better offer than I would if I ran a sale, so maybe a $1 or $2 less than their normal sale. This is like a private discount to the likers that have liked my item. So it's pretty neat because it tells them the buyer has sent you an offer, and hurry because there are like 10 other watchers, and the first person to accept the offer gets it. So it gives them that sense of urgency that this is a good deal, you better get it before somebody else beats you. And so that has created a lot of sales for me. Okay, so I'm strategic about these. So I send offers on days that I do not have sales. So the next strategy is to end some listings. Look at your old listings, and this is what I do. I look at my old listings, and now when you list items for buy it now, they are automatically listed as good till canceled. They're just listed forever, and they renew every 30 days. Sometimes you can forget about some auctions that you've had for some time unless you go back and you look at them when you have a lot, especially. And so what I do is I look at my older listings, and I look for two things, whether they have watchers, views, and I decide what to do with those. Between the two, I either end them and relist them, or end them and hit sell similar. And for the older listings, I just look at them. If they have watchers, then they're a buy it now. I'm trying to get rid of them. Then I will end them and I will hit relist. I will just list them at a auction price, one that I'm comfortable with. And if I'm trying to get rid of, like I talked about earlier, I might list them at a 99-cent starting price. If I want to place them for, the lowest that I'll take, then I'll do that as well, okay? The reason why I do this is because when I hit end and relist, all the watchers that have liked my item, will get a notification saying that I have relisted the item. And if they really want it, they will bid for it and I will sell it, okay? Because at this point, I'm just trying to get rid of it. So that's one strategy I use when I end listings. But I also end items and I hit sell similar, because remember, eBay likes when you're active on the app, on the website. And so when you hit end and sell similar, it's tricking eBay into thinking that you are working, that you are listing a similar item to the one you had, but you're actually not. You're just ending the item, you are selling similar, and you can switch some things up. I know that some people choose to maybe take new pictures if the pictures weren't great, but I honestly don't like to spend more time on an older listing unless I feel like it should have sold. But usually I just try to get rid of it. And so if you sell similar, then it tricks the eBay algorithm into thinking that you're working, which in turn gives you more traffic. Okay, so that's another strategy. Just don't forget to erase it from your unsold listings, because you can end up accidentally listing an item twice and then you can have problems with it. And I usually like to do this strategy when I know I might not get some work done. I have a busy day, I'm not getting work done, because it tricks the eBay algorithm into thinking that you are working. I can quickly pull up my phone and do that. Okay, it doesn't take much time. Okay, and my last tip, last but not least, is to be active on the eBay app. It might seem very insignificant, but remember, eBay likes when you're active on the site. eBay likes to see that you're consistent. So besides doing all these strategies, also implement this one, okay? And I make sure that I'm active on the site by, when I'm listing items, I am looking at sold comps. That counts as time being on the app. Give feedback. eBay likes, again, that you're active, so giving feedback helps you, be on the app. So when you sell items, make sure you're giving that feedback to the buyers. Also, things that you would buy on a normal basis, buy on eBay instead of buying on other platforms. Or if you can, most of the times things are cheaper on eBay. So all these tips help you be active on eBay, which in turn eBay notices that you're on the app, so they might just do you a favor. They like that consistency. So these are my tips. Those are the tips that I have implemented in these past 2 weeks, and I will continue to implement to increase my sales. If you like this video, if you like videos like this about my sales, about my personal experience that could help you as well, give me a thumbs up so that I can create some similar videos to this one. But again, any comments, any questions, leave them. And another question that I have is, what do you do to increase your sales? What has helped you increase your sales? Thank you so much for watching, guys. Until next time. And I also wanted to share something that was hilarious when this video took so long to record, because the fact that my kids, it's actually Sunday here. I'm actually recording it on a Sunday, and my kids know I'm here. My kids are home. My husband just got surgery, so he's out there, and I told him I'm going to record. Can you keep him out here? But for some reason, my kids decide to be with mom all the time. And so let me show you what happened and why I took so long to record this video. Things that you don't see.
Let me get in, por favor.
I hope you enjoyed that hilarious life of a mom.